Good morning, everyone. This is Tara Sewell, internal wholesaler with Financial Markets. Thank you for joining us today. Your lines are muted, and if you have any questions or comments throughout the call, please use your GoToWebinar chat function to submit your note. First of all, from all of us here at Financial Markets and the carriers you sell each and every day, thank you. Thank you for your business, and thank you for the retirement security and family protection you provide to your clients. Without you and your clients, our firm and the insurance companies you solicit would not be where we are today. So a big thank you to you, to all the producers on the call. We appreciate you. Congratulations to Lisa from South Dakota. She was our winner of the October drawing. She won the Oni Coda 16 gas-powered outdoor pizza oven. And congratulations to the runners-up who each won a $50 Amazon gift card. Thank you for joining us for the FMI Agent $500 Amazon shopping spree giveaway and to learn about the financial markets IUL Powerhouse. Let's dive into the details. So our qualification period was from October 8th to December 4th. You earned one ticket for every application, with an anticipated premium of $10,000 in annuity premium, $1,000 in anticipated life, MedSup, disability income or long-term care premium, and then you earned double tickets for every carrier on our premier carrier list. Then you earned triple tickets for every case that was written after October 8th and paid by December 4th. Let's dive into your odds. Today, the odds are in your favor. 3,800 tickets in our hat today. Your name can only be drawn once. And of course, you must be pre-registered with your full name and to be present on the call for the duration of the webinar. Let's get started with our first finalist. So we've been shuffling these names. I'll shuffle them one last time, and we will drop our names in the hat. Let's draw our first finalist. Our first finalist, Grant Lane from Kansas with 64 tickets in the hat. Is Grant on the call?
Tara, Grant is on the call.
Congratulations, Grant. You are our first finalist. Now, there are many great tools available to you. One of these tools is the FMI Agent mobile app. There are term and GUL quotes available to you on your phone or tablet. Search FMI Agent in the App Store. On to our second finalist. Tracy Gran from South Dakota with 15 tickets in the hat. Is Tracy on the call?
Tara, Tracy's not on the call.
All right. Remember, folks, you must be on the call and present for the entire webinar to qualify. Let's draw again for our second finalist. Ely Nicolay from Florida with 88 tickets. Is Ely on the call?
Just looking through the list here. And Tara, Ely is not on the call.
Okay, let's try again for our second finalist. Kelly Hansen from South Dakota with 89 tickets. Is Kelly on the call this morning, Neil?
Kelly is on the call.
Congratulations, Kelly, for being our second finalist. If you haven't yet, you can subscribe to the Financial Markets YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/FMIAgent. On our channel, you will find webinar replays, sales concept, case studies, consumer videos, and of course, the popular Dow's Weekly Digest. Visit the page, check out some videos, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Now to our third finalist. So far, we have Grant Lane from Kansas, Kelly Hansen from South Dakota, and we are on to our third finalist. Our third finalist, Wayne Breitag from South Dakota with 17 tickets. Is Wayne on the call?
looking here. Wayne is not on the call, Tara.
Okay, let's draw again. We are looking for our third finalist. Angie Ford from Kansas with 39 tickets. Is Angie on the call?
And Angie is not on the call.
Okay. Again, we are looking for our third finalist, Kevin Lloyd from Missouri with 22 tickets. Is Kevin on the call?
We got a bad streak here. Kevin's not on the call with us either here.
All right, let's draw again. And Lori Ketterling from Minnesota with 28 tickets. Is Lori on the call this morning?
Let's look through the list here. And Lori is on the call.
Congratulations, Lori. So far we have three finalists. We have Grant Lane from Kansas, Kelly Hansen from South Dakota, and Lori Ketterling from Minnesota. As a producer working with financial markets, you have access to many great products and many great permanent life options: whole life, guaranteed universal life, indexed universal life. Today, Neil Sperling, Vice President of Financial Markets, will be discussing how indexed universal life may be the best permanent solution for your clients. Neil?
Thank you, Tara. All right. Yeah, thank you, Tara, and congratulations to Tara Sewell and her sales team for hitting record sales numbers in the third quarter despite the pandemic and shutdowns. So nice work there, Tara. Well, there's a lot to talk about with Index Universal Life. For me, this conversation could last hours. IUL is such a flexible product with many different uses and plan design strategies, but today we'll only look at two common design options. But when you have a case to discuss, please know you can count on your internal wholesaler here at Financial Markets to navigate all the options and help you deliver the best solution to your client each and every time. All right, let's get started here. LIMRA, the Life Insurance Marketplace Research Association, in November reported total life insurance new premium growth year-to-date fell by 1%. Policy count increased. What that really tells us is that more policies were issued at lower premiums or coverage amounts, likely attributed to term insurance. But wait, IUL new premium was up 3%. So while the overall industry was down slightly, this piece of the pie, Index Universal Life, grew by 3%. That may not sound like much growth, but it's in the millions by premium volume. So really, let's go over why this product is so attractive. So first, let's look at the norms. I'm a huge fan of fixed no-lapse guarantee universal life. Premium and death benefit are guaranteed level to a specified age, normally age 100 or longer. And it's no wonder that advisors and clients love these products. Let's look at a typical no-lapse universal life, no-lapse guarantee universal life for a 45-year-old. This 45-year-old is securing $1 million of death benefit protection for just around $8,500 annual premium. What an incredible product. Under the old norms, before no-lapse guarantee universal life, to get this type of guarantee, a client only had one option. That was whole life insurance. In this scenario, a whole life insurance plan for the same $1 million is nearly $20,000 annual premium compared to this $8,500 no-lapse guarantee universal life. There's certainly value in your fixed no-lapse guarantee universal life products, but maybe it's not the best solution for your clients. So most fixed UL products with an age 100 plus guarantee offer little or, like we just saw, no cash value. And if your client misses a premium payment or is late on a premium payment, or even with some products too early with a premium payment, it may greatly reduce or even forfeit the no-lapse guarantee. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of fixed no-lapse guarantee universal life, but there's something so much better today, and fixed no-lapse guarantee UL is no longer my go-to product. A no-lapse guarantee index universal life is just like a fixed no-lapse guarantee product where the premium and death benefit are guaranteed level to a specified age, normally age 100 or longer. But there's another component here that most fixed no-lapse guarantee products do not have, and that's potential cash value. And maybe even significant potential cash values, depending upon the product that you're using. Some may say, hey, you don't need cash growth in your life insurance. You're just buying it for the death benefit protection. I disagree. What happens if you miss a payment? With a no-lapse index universal life plan, it might not have much of an effect on the policy because the cash value may cover it. What happens if you're late on a payment? What if your needs change and you want to purchase new coverage? You could use the cash value of your policy to help fund a new policy. What if you no longer need coverage? If you surrender your policy, you get the surrender value back instead of maybe just a Dear John surrender letter from the company. For those reasons alone, having a bit of cash in your life insurance that is protection focused can be a big deal. So let's take a look at a leading no-lapse guarantee index universal life with that same 45-year-old for $1 million of coverage. As you can see on the left, the annual premium here is around $9,600. That's compared to the $8,500 that we looked at on the prior slide with the fixed no-lapse guarantee universal life. But unlike the fixed no-lapse guarantee UL, this product has significant cash values. Take a look over here at year 20. The client has a potential cash value of $210,000, which exceeds the premium paid by more than $15,000. And it keeps growing as long as premiums are paid. Now let's look at as the client nears retirement. You can see the cash values continue growing. But notice on the guaranteed column, the values reach zero. That's what would occur if the index returned zero in all years and the insurance company increased the cost of insurance and expense charges to the maximum right when the policy was first issued. But notice what does not disappear, the death benefit. So long as the client makes their premium payments as scheduled, makes no withdrawals or other coverage changes, the death benefit and premium remain guaranteed level. Now that we've passed our typical retirement ages, let's take a look at our max life expectancy ages. As you can see, the death benefit on the projected column to the right has hit corridor, and it's actually increasing above our original death benefit. But back to the guarantee. Regardless of what happened or what happens, the death benefit and the premium is guaranteed regardless of what happens, as long as the client makes their premium payments as scheduled, makes no withdrawals or other changes to the coverage. What an incredible product. So let's compare your fixed no-lapse guarantee UL plans with some of these top no-lapse guarantee index universal life plans. So here's 5 top contenders in the fixed no-lapse UL marketplace. While several carriers have left the fixed no-lapse UL marketplace, there's still plenty of options for your clients. In this scenario, Principal has the lowest cost, while Lincoln and Protective have the highest. For our comparison, we'll remove Lincoln and Protective since they're quite a bit more expensive. So we're here around $9,000 per year range for $1 million of fixed lifetime guaranteed protection. So question is, how does this compare to index no-lapse UL? Here are 3 of the top players in the no-lapse index UL marketplace. As you can see, we could actually save a bit on premium here with AIG and get guaranteed protection to age 90, while the coverage is projected to remain in force to age 131. Or you can get a full lifetime guarantee on an IUL for around $9,600 with North American. Or my favorite in this particular situation, on this particular case, if you will, is let's go with Protective. They got a index UL here, guaranteed to age 112 for the same exact premium as we saw on that fixed no-lapse guarantee. Now, it's not a full guarantee. It only guarantees to age 112. But I sure hope that covers me. I'm not going to be wanting to be around beyond age 112 there. So just looking at a few index-based options could provide your client with much better and much more flexible coverage. No lapse UL and no lapse IUL provide great value for your clients. If you're not already, I'd encourage you to consider showing your client the significant benefits of protection-focused life insurance on an index chassis. Your clients will benefit in the long run. So that's the first design type to show you this morning. Now let's look at IUL as supplemental savings. You may have heard of a LIRP plan, meaning life insurance as a retirement plan, or other acronyms for this type of design. But really, this is a plan where we load up a policy with as much premium as allowed, with a future goal of distributions, and most importantly, tax-free distributions. Now, with this type of design, we're not using a protection-focused IUL like a no-lapse IUL that we looked at a minute ago. We need a product that is designed specifically for accumulation focus. Ultimately, the goal is to have the cost of insurance and expense charges as low as possible and have the cash value grow as quickly as possible. Then, when we start taking distributions from the plan, allow those funds that were distributed to still participate in the potential index credits minus the loan interest rate. Some of the things to consider here that while a policy being a MEC, a modified endowment contract as defined by the IRS, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but is not a good thing in this type of design. So we'll avoid designing any of these as a MEC. Our goal with these designs is to take out as much cash from the policy as possible and, of course, taking it income tax-free. If we've taken out more than our premium and the policy lapses, the amount distributed in excess of the premiums that we had paid would be taxable. So it's imperative that you keep the policy in force until death to avoid any taxation. Likewise, if you use a withdrawal strategy, and this is getting a little bit in the weeds on how we take the distributions, but if you use a withdrawal strategy and your withdrawal is more than your premiums paid, those amounts would be taxable. So I prefer only to use loans on distribution. But if you do initially use withdrawals on distribution, switch to loans once you've taken as much as the premiums that you've paid in. This type of plan needs time in the kitchen. You don't get a nice prime rib from the microwave. Likewise, this is not a plan where you start it today and expect to start distributions in a few years or even 10 years. About the minimum time frame for implementation to the first distribution will be around 15 years. And ideally, you don't want to make any distributions until 20 years or longer. And the longer you wait, the better the outcome. So today we'll look at a typical IUL as a supplemental savings plan with a 45-year-old. This hypothetical client's already maximizing his 401k. He wants to save more, but wants to do so as tax efficiently as possible. His advisor runs him several options using $10,000 annual premium with income starting at his age 66 through his age 85. So we'll take a look at his options. Here's 6 top carriers in the accumulation-focused IUL space. As you can see here, our constant is the premium of $10,000 annual. We're using an increasing face amount, but starting the face amount as low as possible within the MEC guidelines. On the rightmost column is the projected annual income for each product to begin at age 66 and go to age 85 for this 45-year-old. While North American does not have the lowest initial death benefit nor the highest projected index rate, they do have the highest projected income. And how could that be? It all comes down to the internal cost of insurance and expense charges within the policy. The lower the expenses within the product, the better the design performs. So let's take a look at this case with specifically North American. As mentioned, we're using an increasing death benefit starting as low as possible within MEC guidelines. This client's funding the plan with $10,000 annually, and take a look at the projected values at 5.91%. At the end of 10 years, the client has a projected value greater than the premiums that they've paid in. And if you look at the middle column, if the index only credits 3.5%, the client has over 93% of the premium that they paid in as the projected value. So we fund this for 20 years, and this is the baking stage. Then at age 66, we change the death benefit option to level and begin distributions. If the average index credit produced and continues producing the 5.91% illustrated rate, the client could enjoy $29,244 of annual distributions for 20 years. On the prior slide, you may have noticed that I indicated that this is the AG49A index credit rate. I won't go into great detail on that, but we do have a really good video on YouTube that explains AG49A in more detail. But the reason I mention AG49A when talking with you about this illustration is that this is the most conservative illustration ever produced on an index life plan. Meaning, AG49A so drastically limits the ability to show unrealistic projections, there's a strong likelihood that this illustration is less favorable than what may happen. So this illustration shows $29,244 in annual distributions, and it's limited by the AG49A guideline. Well, of course, no illustration is ever accurate on projections. The real result will be better or worse than illustrated. This new regulation makes it quite probable that your client will get something better than they expected. So get this, the client placed $200,000 in total premiums into this plan, then started taking distributions for 20 years of $29,244 for a total of $584,000. And the biggest part of this is that the $584,000 was received completely income tax free. Man, this is such an amazing plan for your clients to consider for supplemental income. Earlier, I mentioned the importance of keeping the plan in force. If the policy lapses, any distributions received in excess of the premiums paid would become fully taxable to the policy owner in the year in which the policy lapsed. And I've heard of some real horror stories of that happening on some older policies. But we now have a solution. This is available with most accumulation-focused index life plans and is commonly referred to as an overloan protection benefit. While the provisions vary somewhat from carrier to carrier, here's how an overloan protection benefit works. The policy must be enforced for a certain number of years, sometimes 20 years, but more commonly 15 years. And the client has had to attain a certain age, such as age 65 or 70, to exercise the benefit. If the policy becomes in jeopardy of lapse due to loans taken, the policy will so-called freeze until death. It's very similar to a reduced paid-up whole life plan, if you want to think of it like that. When you're looking at various plans for income purpose, make sure it includes an overloan protection benefit or at least something similar. I know we ran through those two index UL designs quite fast, really in the interest of your time, but please know that Financial Markets is truly your powerhouse when it comes to IUL. We have the top carriers in the industry, as you see here, but more importantly, your internal wholesaler knows these products inside and out. You don't need to be an expert on the material we went over here today. Just contact your internal wholesaler on your next prospect, and they'll help you prepare for a successful interview and, of course, sale with your next client. So thank you for your business throughout the year. We're so honored to work with each and every one of you. Merry Christmas to you and your families, and good luck in the drawing. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our host, Tara Sewell.
Thank you, Neil. Now let's draw our fourth finalist for the $500 Christmas shopping spree. Just to recap, we have three finalists so far. We have Grant Lane from Kansas, Kelly Hansen from South Dakota, and Lori Ketterling from Minnesota. Let's draw our fourth finalist. Kirby Bowden from South Dakota with 140 tickets in the hat. Is Kirby on the call?
Let me take a look here. Kirby is on the call.
Congratulations, Kirby, for being our fourth finalist in the $500 shopping spree. Now, with as little as $1 million in annuity premium or $30,000 of life premium or any combination, you and your guest could be on your way to Costa Rica in 2021 through our FMI Agent 2020 Point Awards. If you would like an update on your point status, contact your internal wholesaler for those details. Now it is time for our fifth finalist. Grant Lane from Kansas. Now, Grant has already been selected, so we will continue to find our fifth finalist. So our four finalists so far, Grant Lane, Kelly Hansen, Lori Ketterling, and Kirby Bowden. Let's draw our last finalist. Mark Thiel from South Dakota with 21 tickets in the hat. Is Mark on the call?
Let me take a look here. And Mark is on the call.
Congratulations, Mark, for being our fifth finalist in the shopping spree. Now we are going to do a little bit of housekeeping and put those 5 names in our hat.
And I do have a question here that came in. Can a client put more premium into an existing IUL? Really, it depends on their funding strategy initially and the definition of life insurance that was used when the policy was issued. So first and foremost, the question is, did they already max fund the policy? If the policy was issued with what we call the guideline premium test, and they had already maximum funded the policy, likely they cannot put more money in than was scheduled. If they're using the cash value accumulation test, it's going to depend upon how the index performed. And yes, they may be able to put additional funds in, though they also may be limited on the additional funds they can put in on the cash value accumulation test if the product performed more favorably than expected. So the answer is yes, no, maybe. Really depends upon the particular case. And one of the things that we get a frequent request on is, hey, how much can I add to my policy without it becoming a mech? And this would be on an in-force policy. Simple phone call to the insurance company. They have that information right at their fingertips, and they'll be able to tell you how much additional you can put in. And maybe it's going to be $50. Maybe it's going to be $50,000. It really depends upon how that policy was originally funded. Good question.
Good question. As you can see, I have our 5 finalists in the hat, and we're shaking it up. Our finalists are Grant Lane, Kelly Hansen, Lori Ketterling, Kirby Bowden, and Mark Thiel. Let's go ahead and drop those names in our hat, and we will see who will be going on a shopping spree. Yes, we do need a drum roll. And our finalist for the $500 Amazon gift card goes to Mark Thiel from South Dakota with 21 tickets. Congratulations, Mark, and also congratulations to our 4 runners-up on winning the $50 Amazon gift card. Our next promotion will be starting soon, so watch your inbox for more details. Again, thank you for your business this year in 2020, and thank you for your time today. Here at Financial Markets, we wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Take care.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, everyone.